Hey everyone, Luke from A Taste of AZ. On today's episode of the podcast, we've got Toasted Mallow. This is an episode we've been looking very much forward to because their homemade marshmallows and drinks using those marshmallows are absolutely incredible. Make sure to follow Toasted Mallow on social media, as well as A Taste of AZ. Let's jump into the podcast.
All right, so I'm really excited for today. Toasted Mallow, Trisha, Arsa, welcome to the show.
Close. It's good. Arsa.
Did I mess it up?
No, you're good.
Even when I asked it right before, I still mess it up. That's why I always record my intros after. So, Trisha,
You just got to roll your R's. That's all. Arsa.
That's Arsa. Okay, a little bit better, but yeah, Luke can edit that to make it sound real good. So, yes. Where are you right now?
Right now, I'm at my shop in Gilbert, Arizona, Toasted Mallow.
You have just a single shop at this point, right?
Unfortunately, so yeah, we just have the one shop in Gilbert. We have dreams of Gander of having more locations throughout the valley, of course, throughout the country. But unfortunately, at this time, it's just the one shop in Gilbert, Arizona.
Well, you're kicking ass at that one shop in Gilbert, Arizona. So you're.
I hope so. I like to think so.
Yeah, well, it's like this wasn't planned. It's going to sound planned, but it's like the graham cracker of a s'more, right? You've built that foundation. Otherwise, the marshmallow, you need that foundation, right? So that's Gilbert, Arizona.
Good one. I'll have to use that one day.
Yeah,
that's
please
awesome.
do. Yes, please do. So, well, where did it all? Are you from Arizona?
No, I'm originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, all right. So you grew up in.
Yeah, but actually, I've lived here now 22 years.
Okay, gotcha. So, well, what was it? What was it like growing up in Albuquerque? Because I've been there. Albuquerque is a beautiful place. You got a great beer scene. Yeah, my brother-in-law lived there for a couple years, like just the Sandia Mountains. Sandia, right? Sandia Mountains.
Yeah.
The sunsets and it's a beautiful place.
I ran away from there as soon as I could, just because I grew up there.
Right.
So
no matter how cold it is, you want to get away. Yeah.
You want something different, something new, and Phoenix just seemed bigger than Albuquerque. So when I left, I was 23 when I left. I was 22 when I left, and I was like, I need something different. I worked at Motorola in Albuquerque. I was just getting burnt out there with the environment, and I just needed a change. So I just packed up my things one day and just headed out here.
Had you been here? Had you been to Phoenix before?
Oh yeah, I had family that lived out here, so I've been here multiple times. And it was actually a bet that I had with my uncle, and I said, he's like, you'll never move out here. You say you're gonna move out here all the time. And I'm like, I'm gonna do it. He's like, I bet you $100 you won't. I went home that weekend and I put my notice in at my job, told my department I'm leaving, and within a week's time I was out here.
Hell yeah. Well, you already had $100 in your pocket guaranteed, right? That's more than some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it scary? Was it exciting? It's kind of all that, right?
It's all that. It's new, it's exciting, it's different. It's, I just always been one that just jumps in with both feet, doesn't care what happens, because I'm just one of those people that believe in you just take the risk and go with the flow. And if you hit a few bumps, you scrape off and jump up and keep going, because you never know what's going to happen unless you actually do it. So I've always had that mentality. And when I moved out to Phoenix, I was just like, either I make it or I don't. And if I don't, I just go back home.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not that high risk. It's not. Yeah, it's
It's one
these
state
days,
over. I was okay.
Sure. Yeah. 200 years ago, that's a life and death situation, right? It's like, if it doesn't work out,
definitely.
might die.
Yeah, it was okay. But I'm glad that I did leave. And I've called Arizona my home for the last 22 years, and it's been good, and I can't complain. It's a little, people, my friends and family back home are like, how do you handle the heat? I'm like, well, you're always inside. It's not like you're sitting outside all day long.
Just like, I wish I could do something about this. Like, you can go inside.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, when you moved here, were you into food, like professionally, or just even as a foodie or anything like that? No, no, just
Not at all.
just a
Not
working
at
girl.
all.
Just
I was yeah, yeah, I was. I was just a working girl. I wanted to do corporate stuff. I wanted to build up to the corporate ladder and get into those high positions where I was the person who made the decisions for a company. And I started in retail out here. I worked at the Warner Brother retail store at Arizona Mills Mall. I don't know if you remember those stores. So I was
kind
one
of.
of the managers there, and then I jumped from there. I worked at Skechers as a manager, and then Then I went to Stride Right Kids Shoes,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
one of the managers. Yeah, and their doors actually have closed now too. And I was there for about 7 years as a manager, and then from there I jumped to Bass Pro.
God, so operating retail.
Yeah, that was my drive. I went to school. I got my business management degree. I got a certificate in HR. I was going to do corporate. That was my lifelong ambition.
Yeah. Which I'm sure now helps you immensely, like with
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. That was the direction. My last job, working at Bass Pro, I was a customer service manager, and I ran a couple of there in that location. And I was there for about a good 7 years, and I was going to move up and go to operations manager. And there's actually a store opening in North Carolina that was hiring for an ops manager, and I was looking to put my notice into that until all of this came about. So yeah, not a
oh
foodie, just a corporate woman.
yeah. Yeah. Well, what changed though? So what changed from him? That was your direction. Like you were the education behind you, the drive, and it seems like, and I hope I'm not making assumptions, but it seems like with you said with your mentality, you were full in. It wasn't like you were
Hmm.
straddling the line, right? So what
Yeah,
changed?
yeah. I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and I was
Yeah.
ready to just keep making that my career. Um, what changed was my grandmother. My grandmother changed everything. She 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 lived here in Arizona with me, not with me. I had her in a home in Glendale, and I took care of her for 5 years, and went to make sure she had her doctor's appointments, groceries, medicines. That she had bingo, casino, all that fun stuff. Just to make sure she was taken care of really well.
Yeah.
And during that time, so I was at Bass Pro for about 7 years. That last year at Bass Pro, actually the last 2 years at Bass Pro, my grandmother was diagnosed with dementia and started falling. And so I had to put her in an assisted living facility. So my focus really went towards my grandmother. So I had to slowly take a seat back at work as far as any ambition, as far as doing anything corporate wise.
Yeah.
And I'd say my boss there at Bass Pro was pretty awesome because he was really understanding and knew how much my grandmother meant for me. So he'd let me have time off or schedule her doctor appointments around my time. So it worked
Yeah.
out really well with them. So she she passed away September 2012 with dementia. And at Bass Pro, we would have these baking contests. Like every month prior to this, we had baking contests, like 7 managers, all cocky as hell. We were the best of each other. I could do it better than you, or I can do this.
Yeah.
My numbers are better than your numbers. So we wanted to do something that we all sucked at, which is
Mm,
baking,
mm.
because we were all corporate career people. So
Yeah.
baking was in our aptitude.
Yeah.
And so we had these baking contests every month that we would try to outdo each other. And this one particular month, so my grandmother passed in September 2012. I didn't really participate in the baking contest thereafter because I was just having a hard time with her passing. So I
Yeah.
kind of lost myself, even from my family. I didn't want to be around anybody. I didn't care about work anymore. I really, really struggled with losing her. And for some reason, this one particular month, I believe it was February, the secret ingredient for the baking contest was marshmallow. And I have never liked marshmallows. I don't
Really
like the texture of a marshmallow.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's got to be a better way to make a marshmallow because I don't like them.
Yeah.
So I went home and I told my wife, I'm like, I want to make a marshmallow. That's the secret ingredient, but I'm just going to make a marshmallow, not put it into dessert. She's like, okay. So I went online, I started looking at videos, I started reading recipes, I started looking at everything. I fully just put my whole self into this whole marshmallow. I went down the rabbit hole, marshmallow.
Yeah. Why do you think
And
you did? Sorry to interrupt, but why do you think you did? Why do you think you wanted to go deep, so deep?
I think it just took my mind off of my grandmother, her loss, because every day was just focused on losing her.
Sure.
I doctor's appointments, everything. Like I was living every day that she passed every day, and it wasn't getting any easier.
Yeah.
So when this marshmallow thing came about and was so scientific and how do you make one? I think I just consumed myself with that so much that it helped ease off some of the grief that I was feeling for my grandmother.
Sure. Yeah.
So I really wanted to perfect a marshmallow. I wanted really to see how it was made, and it helped. It helped immensely when I just started doing this research on marshmallows and how it was made. I was just putting myself so much into how to make the marshmallow. It just helped ease some of the pain from my grandmother's passing.
Yeah.
And I went and bought my first mixer, bought my first set of measuring tools, went and got all the ingredients, and I played in the kitchen for like a week time. I'd go to work, I'd come home and make a marshmallow just so I can learn how to make them. And it did. It helped me work through the grief of her passing. And I think what I did was I put the passion I had for her, my love for her, the every day of seeing her into the marshmallows. And as I created them and made them, I just felt happier and more fulfilled. And I always tell people, I think what happened was when my grandmother passed, she put this in my lap and said, "Here, Mija, because you worked so hard and because you took care of me, here's something for you to do that you'll enjoy and that you'll remember me for." And this is what I've come up with. And that's how I correlate the two, is that she gave me this gift because I was not a baker. I couldn't bake to save my life. I couldn't,
let alone bake something you don't like.
I made macaroni and cheese out. That was my palette of food.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. But then you decide to perfect something that you
I
don't
made my
even
first
like
marshmallow.
Eat. Sorry, we're delayed.
Right. Yeah, I perfected something I don't eat at all.
Yeah, right.
So I made my first marshmallow, took it to work, won the contest, and you didn't win anything. It was just accolades saying, "Yay, high five, did your job, whatever."
Yeah.
And I didn't stop. I didn't stop making them. I would go home, I would make marshmallows, I would take them to work. I'd be like, "Here, guys, eat these." I'd go home, make more marshmallows, eat these, different flavors, different textures, added different ingredients, and I would just take them to work consistently and give them to the staff to tell them just to continuously eat them. And that went on for 6-7 months of me just making marshmallows and taking them to work. And the whole time, I just felt a sense of relief of the grief for my grandmother, and it just helped. It helped me process.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Cider Core, the cider house in Mesa?
Yes.
Yeah. So similar story with their founder. You know, the founders are two brothers. Jason was in the Marines and he had severe PTSD, and his doctor told him to find something to, focus your mind on, and, to help him. And it was cider. Like, they started making cider, him and his brother, in the garage. And he got so zoned in on like yeast, like the science of it. Like you were saying, like it was, now he's like off the charts knowledgeable about it. But it's very interesting that something like that can blossom into something amazing like what you're doing.
Yeah. So then my boss there at Bass Pro said, "Hey, I want to buy some marshmallows for me to take to my family back east." And I was all, "You want to buy my marshmallows? I've been giving them away. You want to buy them?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." So I went home and I told my wife, and she's like, "Well, maybe we have something here." I was like, "Well, why don't you start me on Etsy and go from there? Start me an Etsy page. Let's throw up some basic flavors and see what happens." And she was like, "Okay." So she built me an Etsy page. We put up like vanilla, chocolate, Sorry, you hear that?
Yeah, that's great though. That's great. People are like, we want our marshmallows.
Yeah, so the phone is ringing. Sorry, it threw me off here in the store.
Oh no, you're good. Well, so
Um,
let's back up a second. So this is the second time
okay.
you've brought up your wife. So for her, was it like you? But it seems like she was in. Like, hell yeah, let's do this.
She was in. Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
she was in from
awesome.
the get-go.
Yeah,
I mean, because from an outsider, she saw how I was struggling after my
sure.
grandmother passed. She saw, I mean, she was there with me during the whole dementia when we put my grandmother in hospice. I mean, she was there every day. She knew how much my grandmother meant to me because my grandmother raised me as a child until my preteen. And so she was there. So when she saw me get so involved in the marshmallows, she knew, like, okay, she found something that's going to take her
Yeah,
mind off. She's going to be, I get my wife back, I get my family back kind of thing. So, oh,
yeah,
yeah, she was, let's just do this. Let's go in. Let's start making a business. And I was like, okay,
yeah. You're hanging on.
hold
Whoa,
on.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you said she built you an Etsy page. You guys kind of started that online storefront.
Yeah, definitely. We started the storefront, and then all of a sudden we started getting these sales. I was like, oh my God, we have sales. So she's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur as well. She's a web and graphic designer.
Oh, nice.
So she was home, and she was like, she had this whiteboard, and she would write down all the names of all the orders, when they were due, what they purchased. So when I get home, I'd see this, and I would be so excited that, oh, I have orders. And so right away, I researched cottage law to figure out how you bake at home. And at this time, Arizona had cottage law based because of what happened when we had that big recession back in, what was that?
Oh wait, I think.
2000, yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
So because of cottage law, you're allowed to bake at home and sell to the public. So started making marshmallows, started selling them on Etsy, and then I have there was a manager at Bass Pro who was just as he had an entrepreneurship also. He made pens. He handmade pens, writing pens.
Wow. I didn't even know you can make handwritten.
And yeah, they're really cool pens. They're really cool pens. He doesn't do it anymore. He's gotten bigger and better and moved on elsewhere. But he started a Kickstarter for his pens, his writing pens.
Yeah.
I was like, you did a Kickstarter? I'm going to do a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Go home, tell the wife, let's do a Kickstarter. And she was like, okay, let's do a Kickstarter. So she builds the whole Kickstarter. She does the video. She does everything. I come home, I see it's amazing. And then, so we do the Kickstarter, and our goal for Kickstarter was 5,000. And for 30 days, we had this Kickstarter going. I don't think I slept at all during those 30 days.
Yeah, I can
And by the end of our campaign, your phone is consistently going off. It's consistently beeping. You got to sell. You got to pledge. You got another pledge. You have another pledge. So
which is a good sound, but still, yeah.
it's very nerve-wracking because then you start thinking, how am I going to make all these marshmallows?
Everyone's another marshmallow. Ding, ding.
Yeah, and there's just not one marshmallow. It was like a dozen here, 2 dozen here. If you pledge at this level, you get 5 dozen marshmallows. And so, needless to say, by the end of the campaign, we did $12,000.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So I was like,
That's,
people want marshmallows. People actually want to eat marshmallows, and not just any marshmallow. They want a homemade marshmallow.
how did you do it? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, obviously, don't give secrets away, but like, how did you guys execute the Kickstarter? I guess in a general sense.
As far as from start to finish, or for just all the orders that came through?
And more just of like the approach to Kickstarter. Like, why do you think the Kickstarter was so successful as far as, over double what your goal was?
Right. You know what? Back then, Kickstarter was such a cool campaign thing. It was such a, what was it called? Crowdfunding.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it really hit big back then. Back when it started back in 2000, we did our Kickstarter in 2013, and people were just jumping on Kickstarter like left and right. So I think we were just lucky that we were at the beginning of how big Kickstarter was getting.
Gotcha.
So I think that's why it went so well and so viral, was just because Kickstarter was just brand new. People were using it as a platform to build their businesses and get new product out there. Because like now, 6 years later, I don't really hear much about Kickstarter, nor do I see much about Kickstarter.
No, yeah, I over the past
So I
few years,
think
it's like less and less. Yeah.
so. I think it was just right timing, right place, right time.
Yeah. Well, also I would say too, like, and when you said your wife was you said graphic design web developer, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense because your website's beautiful, the graphics, like I mean, your T-shirt there. I mean, and I'm sure she's behind that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. When you can,
Yeah.
and I would assume that the Kickstarter campaign was like that. So when people see something polished, right, and it's like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh shit, it's marshmallows too. Hell yeah, we're in, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, she did a really good job at the Kickstarter. Yeah, it's her. She's a brainiac when it comes to our brand, our logo, what our look is, the colors. Like my hair's blue, our logo's blue, everything's blue, but it's blue for a purpose, just because that was my grandmother's favorite color.
Ah,
So I brought that in here, and because she knows that, she just makes sure to go above and beyond when she's thinking of our new designs and new logos and new T-shirts and stuff like that. She has that in the back of her mind, as far as she knows what I like, what this means to me, and she knows how to put that out there so people can understand the story.
yeah, yeah. What a great combo too, right? It's like Luke and I, my business partner. We're opposites in so many ways, but it works so well. He does the things and loves doing the things that I hate doing, and I'm not good at. Where I'm like, dude, would you want to do this? He's like, hell yeah, I would love to do that. I'm like, good. I hate that, right? So it's good to have somebody that allows you to do the part of it that you love, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, do you think it would have, if all those orders were coming in at the beginning in the Etsy years, and you were seeing all those orders and you had to handle that as well as that, do you think it would have resulted in anything different? Or you would have
Um,
figured it out?
I, I probably would have figured it out. I'm that determined of a person to I would have figured it out. I'm lucky that I had her there
Yeah,
to do it, half of it with me, and to be in the sinking boat at the time with me
yeah, yeah,
because we're trying to figure everything out.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, you're right. As far as I tell her to this day, I'm like, we can never get a divorce because I can never afford what she does. So she's gonna stay with me forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's good. That's a good.
And
That's a
all
good
I can
connection.
draw is a smiley face.
That's right. If you drew
So,
that smiley face, that was a good smiley face on that shirt right there. So, yeah.
oh yeah, this is hers.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
so you
but
get the money,
go
right? Or
ahead.
the Kickstarter is a success. Now shit's getting real, right? And had you found a place by then, a location?
No, not at all. Not at all. Um, we looked for kitchens just to do the Kickstarter part. Because we had to do it in a commercial kitchen because it's just so much. There's no way to do it at home. So we just we had a friend who knew a friend who owned a cake shop here in Mesa, and she allowed us to rent out a small part of her kitchen to make the marshmallows. So I would get off work. I would work 9 to 10 hours over at Bass Pro, and then from there I'd head over to the kitchen, and then I'd start making marshmallows. And then my wife Hazel would go in the next day and she'd start cutting and packaging. So I would make them and she would go and cut and package, and then she would ship out. And then on my days off, I'd be there with her all day shipping and packaging. And I think it took us a good 3 weeks to get all those orders out by the
Okay.
time it was all said and done.
Yeah. Yeah. A true
And then
side
after
hustle.
that, oh yeah, it was a huge site. I was working 60 hours at Bass Pro and then another 40 hours just making marshmallows to get them out to the people. So after the Kickstarter, she said, you know what, I'm going to build us a website and let's start a company. Let's just do this and see what happens. And I was like, okay. So she built the website. And at the time we were called Fluff It Marshmallows.
Okay.
So that was her brainchild because, some days you just want to say fluff it. And that's just literally how it came out.
Yeah.
It's exactly how, like, we're sitting there going, what should we call ourselves? Well, something marshmallow, something s'mores, something, what's catchy, what's fun? I think we've been sitting there for like 6 hours. We're like, this sucks. I have no idea because then you have to go make sure that no one had the name, that
Yeah.
no one belonged to it, that you can keep it. And we're sitting there. I'm like, you know what? Just fuck it. And she's like, fluff it. Let's fluff it. I'm like, that's perfect.
I love that.
That's how that came about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also could be
unfortunately
easily explained away too. And like, no, fluff it, like fluff, like the, come on, what were you thinking? That was your mind that was thinking that, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's so many jokes about it. It's not even funny because when we said fluff it, they're like, oh, you're a fluffer. And I'm like, okay. Let's move on to something else.
Right. Yeah. So you opened up as fluff it.
We did open up as fluff it.
Yeah.
Yep. We opened up. So start the website. And what happened was the website was kicking off. Again, I'd get home, make marshmallows. She'd cut them. She'd ship them. And it went like that for a good almost a year, like that, just doing that consistently. So I worked at Bass Pro. I kept my day job. She stayed home and did her websites. And then we would do marshmallows at night and early morning. And what happened was I was at work and I was on my computer in my office, and one of my assistant managers who hated me comes in, sees that I'm on my website page, runs up to our GM and says, hey, you've got a manager down there who doesn't care what she's doing, doesn't want to train me, even though she was absolutely horrible. And so then my GM calls me upstairs and he has a document for me to sign saying that my head wasn't in the game. Mind you, we had just got out of the holiday season and my departments were up 3% and I bonus, but my head wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to give you my 30-day notice, and I quit.
Oh, wow, nice. Oh, like they were going to give you like one of those written corporate warning things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, he was taking one of my departments away from me because I wasn't focused enough.
So you were like,
the department that I
fluff
had,
it.
pretty much. Yeah, because again, he was taking away a department that I had made sales in and bonus from. So I was like, how am I not caring or in my job if we actually bonus?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. It was just something. Anyhow, it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Sure. Yeah. And we need that sometimes though, right? I mean, I worked for an online university for 9 years in a cube, just like headset with a wire, like a farm animal, tethered to my cube. And, but I needed to get to a point where they basically had to push me out, because it was comfortable, right? It was like, especially with having young kids, and it was all, like, it made sense, right? But then it's just like one day you're like, you know what? Fluff it. Like, this place sucks, but you also, yeah. But you found that path that you love, right? You found that thing you were meant to do, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I like I said, I gave him actually a whole month. I said, I'll give you a month to find somebody to replace me, because my department was pretty intense. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to train the next person. I didn't have any bitterness towards them. They're doing their job. I just knew this wasn't for me anymore, and I knew there was something better out there, which was marshmallows. And again, it was connected to my grandmother, and I wanted to live in her memory. And so I stayed there for 30 days, and then on my last day, go home, and my wife goes, "Okay, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Let's go to Disneyland." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Let's go to Disneyland." I said, "I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what's in store for us, but let's just go to Disneyland, have a great weekend, and when we come back, we'll figure this shit out."
Yeah. She couldn't say no to that.
Who says no to Disneyland?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what happens from there? You enjoy Disneyland, obviously, right? Who doesn't?
So we get back, and right away we hit the ground running. We start looking we actually wanted to do a food truck at first. We thought smaller, less expensive, easier for us. And so we start looking at food trucks, and by chance, looking through Craigslist, we found this location that I'm sitting in right now. Another baker was here, and the baker did to do the baking part, but didn't like the retail part. So she had closed up her retail location part, but she was still using the kitchen to do all her cakes. So she was looking for someone to share the rent and take over the retail location part.
Ah,
Perfect.
yeah.
So we signed a lease with her here, and my wife, myself, my nephew, and I think that was it. Came in, cleaned the whole shop, painted, put down flooring, got in fixtures, got in a stove, everything, and made marshmallows. I hired my niece, and we opened up on August 8th, and we made $50 that day.
Hey, that starts off good, right? Heck yeah. You're like, shit. Like, I can't even put my first dollar on the wall because I got 50 of them. I don't know what to do. Just the whole stack.
But I looked at my wife and I'm like, well, I hope we enjoy eating ramen. Because actually, I took my 401k out also, so it helped a little bit with everything.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be rough at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, then, so because when you opened up, you were the first, right? Like the first.
Yeah.
In America.
Yeah. First S'mores bar in America. We were the first one. There were other marshmallow makers,
okay,
but they didn't have like a retail location or S'mores bar. They just had online presence. So we were the first S'mores bar, and it was fun. And people started coming in. People thought we just sold like marshmallows. Like we bought marshmallows from other countries, and they're different flavor marshmallows, bagged marshmallows, jet puff marshmallows. But when they walked in, they're like, "Oh, you make the marshmallows?" Like, yeah, we make them all from scratch. And they're like, "Oh, we thought you just sold like a candy store."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, we make the marshmallows." They're like, "Oh, different concept, different experience." And then the S'mores bar came out because we live in Arizona where it's 116 degrees. And we thought people aren't going to want to be outside making a s'more at a campfire. It's too hot.
Yeah.
And it's lame if you have to make it over your stove on a fork.
Yeah.
So we thought let's do a s'mores bar so people can come in an air conditioned location, and we'll torch them for them and put toppings on them and graham crackers, and they can enjoy it, inside a air conditioned area and not have to worry about heat exhaustion or burning their fingers over a stove.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in the quality of it too, right? Because I don't know if you're lucky, right? I grew up in the Midwest, so you got like the Hershey's chocolate, and you got all the great stuff, right? But you go to any of the stuff out here where it's like, oh, get a pre-made s'mores thing, and you're like, is this chocolate? Like it's like chalk. Like I could write on the wall. So to create a craft version of that, and I would think when you guys opened, that was almost, I don't think the craft food, beverage, I don't think it was quite what it is now. And people don't understand it as much.
Yeah. Back then, 6 years ago, I mean, I think after the second years when craft food and thinking out of the box food started happening more so, because so we opened up in this location in 2014. We were the only one open in the United States. The only thing different in Arizona. And after almost a year, we decided to purchase the other store. And we knocked down the wall, and we opened up to make it bigger because people were coming in and saying, hey, there's not enough seating. So we made it bigger. And luckily we did, because Insider, social media site on Facebook, Insider, picked us up. And that was intense. Yeah. You have a visitor. The social media group Insider that's on Facebook, they have like over 8 million followers or something like that on their Facebook page, and so many thousand on Instagram. And what happened was, it was just me and another associate, and we're hanging out here making things. It was slow. So we were like, let's make something and try these new recipes out. We'll just go from there because it's going to be a slow day. She's like, okay. About 10:30, 11 o'clock, I get a ding on my phone saying, oh, Insider posted about you. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Don't know who they are. No idea. So then around 2 o'clock, I get another ding on my phone. Insider posted you on Facebook. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Still don't know what the video is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that worked.
Yeah.
I'm not a millennial, so I didn't understand social media. Not yet, anyhow. I had barely just started our Instagram page. And so about 4 o'clock, I guess, maybe, one person comes in. And then 2 people came in, and then more people came in. And me and my associate were like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And so she's making s'mores and I'm making drinks, and we're just hustling like back and forth, and trying to catch our breath, and phones ringing. We had a line out the door. And
You weren't
normally
connected?
close.
You weren't connecting the two just yet? Like
Not yet at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Yeah.
I just thought maybe just people finally realized what we were. I had no idea. And I was scared of my mind. I was really crapping my pants because I was like, how do you do this? I don't know what's happening.
Why? Ooh, what?
Yeah. So then we closed at 6, but that night we didn't close until 8 o'clock because that line was so long, and we sold out of marshmallows. We didn't have any more because I was only making so much for what we had been doing.
Yeah.
So my wife calls me. She's like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I just saw the sales. What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know. Someone posted something somewhere, and then all these people showed up, and I don't know what's happening." She's like, "Do you need help?" I'm like, "Yes, I need you to come here to help me figure this out."
Yeah.
So she comes in and she says that my eyes were bug-eyed, that me and my associate were so frazzled. I was like, it was the best and the scariest day ever in my life.
You too, man. Come on. Yes. Well, that would be cute. Yeah. She thinks he's hilarious now too. So, come on, go. I'm gonna finish. That's got to be a weird feeling, right? Because you're like, wow, this is like everybody's coming in, but then it's also like, oh crap, like what a polarizing effect. You know?
It was. We were here until almost 1 o'clock in the morning remaking all the marshmallows, and we were back here like at 8 o'clock in the morning cutting them all so that we can open the next day. And the next day, there was twice as many people. We had a line that wrapped around the building, and it stayed like that for at least 3 solid weeks of people showing up. Driving from California, people coming in going, I drove the 5 hours from California just to try the marshmallows. I saw you on Insider. I saw you on the website. I saw you on social media. I was like, this is insane. Our website sales skyrocketed. So we had not only in-store sales, but we had online sales that we had to fulfill. So it was pretty intense and insane. And I had to grow the thickest skin during that time. It was maddening.
Because, were you getting a lot of, like, thickening skin? Why? Like, tell me why.
Because everybody's not nice.
Yeah, okay, that's where I was thinking, but I don't want to make the assumption. Well, yeah, because when you're getting that, it's a numbers game, right? If 10% are crappy reviews, 10% of a million is way bigger than so.
Yeah.
What were you? Were you just? Were people? Yeah. I couldn't.
Yeah, people. They were, we closed up because we sold out. We should have known better. We knew what was happening. We knew what was coming. And I was like, no, I had no idea this was coming. I had no idea how to make this work. Or people writing, oh, I've had better marshmallows. It's too expensive. It was just one thing after another. So definitely learned a lot within that time frame.
Sure.
Accepting which ones are just people hating on what I was doing.
And they're always going to be there. They're always going to be there. But there's a shitload of people that love what you're doing. So that's for sure.
That's the highlight of it. Because I still get people who are like, oh, you suck. And I'm like, okay, thanks for letting me know. Have a good day.
Yeah, sorry about that. Best in the Valley 4 years in a row. Right? Yeah. I didn't see 2020 yet. I don't know what the results are, but, if I'm a betting man.
2020. Best of the Valley in 2020.
5 in a row.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah. The people love it. The people love you guys.
Yeah. So it's been fun, and we've been on social media viral a few times after that. I think this is the first year that we haven't gone viral or had a video out about us for 2020. Last year, Thrillist, another social media group, did a video on us, and we did pretty good. But this is the first year. 2020 sucks anyhow. It doesn't matter. But
oh yeah, that's an asterisk. It's just an asterisk in history of right. So you guys do more than just marshmallows, right? I saw milkshakes, coffee.
Yeah, we definitely want to make a marshmallow dessert shop. So we just don't want to just make marshmallows. So of course we made the s'mores. We thought, well, if we're gonna need a s'more, you need some coffee to go with that. And my wife is half Costa Rican. Her parents are from Costa Rica. So we serve Costa Rican coffee. They went down there and found a farm and we get it delivered here. We were given it delivered here, but
Nice.
unfortunately, customs is a pain. So now we get our coffee from Pura Vida. Have you had Pura Vida coffee?
Okay. No, I saw that on your website though. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they are located in Mesa, Pura Vida.
Okay.
So coffee, and then of course we wanted to do a frozen hot chocolate and some other fun drinks for people to enjoy. And then this last year we started making milkshakes. And so far, it's funny. Well, because of course it's 160 degrees outside. I told everyone we're a milkshake shop more than we are a marshmallow shop right now.
Yeah, sure. I can imagine.
So,
Yeah.
and we top all our milkshakes with our marshmallow fluff that we make here in the store.
Oh.
Yeah.
Am I losing you?
No,
Good.
my computer was falling over. But yeah, we make our own marshmallow fluff here in the store. Because it was funny was my boss said, if you're going to make marshmallows, you need to learn how to make marshmallow fluff. It's an East Coast thing.
Sure.
People love it. So that's what I do is now, that's one of our other top sellers is marshmallow fluff. We put on top of all our milkshakes, our coffee drink, whatever.
Now you got my wife locked in too. Like, so my kid's in. I was already in. So we're making a trip very soon to come see you.
Awesome. Cool. Look forward to it.
Yes. So one last thing before we wrap up.
Sure.
In your wildest dreams, did you ever think that your marshmallows would go into a beer?
No. Did you have the beer over at Oso or Arizona?
Yeah. In Arizona. Yeah. Yes. Or Arizona Wilderness.
Yeah.
The Arizona Wilderness, the pistachio.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
that was
amazing.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oso
You guys did
also.
a collab. Yeah.
Sorry. Oso also did a beer. They did it. It was called Instagram, and they used our marshmallows in the beer.
Right. That was amazing.
Oh, good.
That was because that's not usually my style, but I was like, dang, that's good. Like I'd never thought of marshmallows and beer, but once again,
Who knew?
breaking ground, Trisha. I love it.
I'm trying.
Yeah. So you can go into your location in Gilbert, but you guys also ship all 50 states. Is that right?
Yep, we do. We ship
Nice.
everywhere.
What's the website?
The website is thetoastedmallow.com, or you can go to marshmallows.com.
To marshmallows.com?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, very nice. Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
so I guess to wrap it up, what's the vision? I mean, COVID aside, right? No, nothing. We don't know what's going on next week, but what's the vision for Toasted Mallow?
You know, it's funny is I thought I wouldn't be able to expand this without duplicating me a couple of times. But I had just taken a vacation a month ago. We took a 2-week off vacation, drove cross country to North Carolina. And
Nice.
we were gone for a full 2 weeks, and the store did amazing without me. The store functioned. They were able to make marshmallows. So now the vision is to open a smaller footprint in other within the valley. I would really, really like to have one up north and on the west side.
Oh, north as in like 19th Avenue and Happy Valley?
Is that where you are?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, probably, but the Scottsdale Desert Ridge, somewhere in that medium area.
I'll drive.
So definitely
I'll drive for it. Yeah.
There you go. So there, and then of course the west side over by the stadium and somewhere else, and then have a truck. I would like to also have a truck.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. It's just awesome. Just visually, I haven't had it yet. I haven't tasted it, but I'm already locked in with the visuals and your story and everything. So I love it.
Perfect. Well, if you show up with your family, please let me know that you're here so I can come out and say hi and all that fun stuff.
I will. Thank you, Trisha. It was great talking to you.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.
Have fun with your girls.
Absolutely. I will. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Well, guys, there you have it. Toasted Mallow. make sure you visit their spot because their marshmallows are absolutely to die for. Make sure to follow Taste of AZ on social media as well as Toasted Mallow. See you next time.